hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
It's the after show. We're gathered together. And actually, first off, I'd like to start off and just thank Jim and Michelle for filling in next week, or last week. Oh, you didn't know you're filling in next week, too?
Ooh, my heart rate just picked up a little.
Ooh, gotta check my calendar.
Like, oh, wow.
Gotcha.
Anytime. That was fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah,
it was a
fun.
great time, yes.
Yeah, as they say, radio is fun if you don't believe it. And I was telling somebody this morning who had been radio, that old show, WKRP in Cincinnati, it was pretty darn close to what radio stations can be like.
Yeah, it gets pretty nuts.
Pretty bizarre, but it is fun.
We could only hope to attempt to fill your shoes, Tom, while you were gone. It takes two of us,
Right. Yeah, I believe that. Well, I was having a ball in the mountains and the cool air, and let's see, just one morning we wake up and we hear, meh. What? That's about, 2,000 sheep have come down off the mountain behind us with these, they tell us they are Basque sheep herders, and they're moving them to their summering grounds, and they come through and they're just sheep everywhere. It takes them about 2 days to move them all through.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
These guys walking with their big old sheep herding dogs and on horses, and they set up these tents and just stay in them overnight. It was just surreal, the whole thing.
That's cool.
I've watched them push cattle out in Wyoming, very similar fashion. It's amazing.
Is that like same as cow tipping?
No, not at all.
Pushing? No.
When you do it, it is, Jim.
No doubt.
But, they cross many people's property lines and whatnot, so they, call, get permission, and then most of the time the other ranchers come and help them from how it appears to get them moving on. And
well, Idaho is open range, so unless it is specifically fenced, then they can go ahead and move stuff across.
Wow.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, interesting. So that was kind of fun. So, like I said, got a little shooting and all. Tell you what, before we get into all of that, Lee has been patiently on hold, coming out of Eastern Washington. Lee, thank you so much for your patience. You are a credit. How are you doing, man?
Thanks. I think I have something which goes along with what Knox was speaking about.
Okay.
Okay, and then we had the idea of there's a stick. Oh, it looks like a snake. It's a snake. There's a couple of books written by a guy named Lawrence Gonzalez, Deep Survival and Everyday Survival. A bunch more, too. There's some pilot stuff there, too. You might want to check him out.
Okay.
But one of them in Everyday Survival is about when, as a young guy, his grandma had an ashtray that was like a rattlesnake, all curled up and very realistic. 20 years later, he was hiking out in the mountains, and he sees something, and he's been thinking about his grandma. And it looks sort of like that, and he goes to pick it up. It's a real snake.
Holy cow.
We call these perhaps scripts. We've learned a lot of stuff in our lives, and we have these ideas, things we have seen personally or maybe just things we've heard. And sometimes we lock on to the thing which we think it is before we should. We should take that extra second and think it out. And maybe this is what happened with the officer. I'm sorry. I think he thought the wrong thing, and he went into action when there was no reason to.
I think you're onto something there, Lee. If you have put it into your head that if somebody does this, I will do that, and you've just gone over and over and over again, and you've left yourself no room for, I will evaluate what's going on, because I have to move fast. I have to make sure I go home to my family. I will shoot that sucker. And if you've just beat that into your head, maybe to your point, that's the script that you have written, and you're going to follow the script.
You might check him out, though. There's one about flying, too. He's a pilot. His father was a B-17 pilot, shot down in World War II from way high in the sky, and he survived. Incredible.
This is the book. So the book is titled Deep Survival, right?
And the other one's Everyday Survival. That's where the snake thing came from. Everyday Survival. Lawrence Gonzalez.
Yeah, I have Deep Survival, but I do not have Everyday Survival, so I'm going to need to grab that one, too. That was actually recommended to me by Doug Ritter from Equipped to Survive and Knife Rights fame. So very good. Lee, I think you're onto something. I appreciate your patience and hanging in there with us and bringing up something very interesting. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You take care. It's an interesting idea, guys. if you have programmed, and it really is, you and we do the same thing. We talk about what am I going to do if this, and what am I going to do if that. But if you've, as an officer, have programmed yourself to, when I see this movement, I am going to shoot before he can get a gun out, even though you're having the conversation and it seems like it's going well, maybe he saw the snake when there wasn't a snake there.
Mm-hmm.
Quite possible. You know, they're on a high alert status right now with everything anyways, and yeah,
just all the more reason for the rest of us to be very careful. I mean, I'm not faulting officers for being careful and being, ready to protect themselves. I get that. I think rather than say we should change that, I think what we have to do is say, okay, we can just acknowledge that. To your point, Michelle, that's just what it is, and they do want to go home.
right.
So we have to make it possible for us all to go home. We can control our own actions. We can't control somebody else's actions.
Well, it almost needs to take place in like a slow-mo video mode. Like, okay, just like one of the callers said, okay, my pistol is on my right hip. My wallet is in my back right pocket. I'm reaching for my wallet,
No, Are you fine with me reaching for my wallet?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's the first thing. Okay, are you okay with me reaching back here to get my wallet? And wait for an answer. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to now reach back. I'm going to get my wallet. It's like I'm going to, because sometimes you have to say something 2 or 3 times before somebody actually really gets what you're saying. And Lord knows that's certainly true with children, but that's a whole different thing.
And just to put things in, perspective for a minute too. These guys and gals put their life on the line every day.
Exactly.
And around here, the sheriffs start at like $10 or $11 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a travesty right there. But
yes, it is.
They're on high alert, like Michelle said, constantly, and you've got to know that going into it, because you could, if you don't empathize with that, you could be not going home.
Right. I mean, you hate to say that they approach the car already on alert status, but they do.
What would you do? Yeah, you'd have to.
I would.
Now they're approaching in our area, and I'm sure this is probably nationwide, on the passenger side because of the traffic issues that they've had, getting hit and run over and killed. And, it's just
plus you get a different perspective on the driver, and you've got more metal protecting you if you have to bail out.
So you just have so many things running through the head at one time. And we've talked about it before. You have seconds to make up that decision. What do you do?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
Maybe a half a second to react. And, and of course, the other thing is every single officer out there has seen all the videos of walking up and somebody just pulls a gun out and shoots the officer.
Yep. Heck, they're doing it to first responders, EMT, and fire personnel as well.
They're baiting them now.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
This just makes me sick. I don't want to talk about it.
So, how about them Tigers?
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, remember, during Hurricane Katrina, we had people shooting at the rescue helicopters.
I don't understand.
What?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I go back to the whole deal. This person said, "Oh, yeah, how can you talk about shooting one of God's children?" I said, "Well, because some of them need to be shot." Yeah, if you're willing to shoot at rescue helicopters, or you're willing to shoot EMT folks, EMS guys, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. You don't really deserve a place here. And I have no problem with somebody sending you to be somewhere else.
Dispatch them.
There it is. Okay, so, this thing just took a dark turn. So, anyway.
Hey, let's regroup. Let's go to break and regroup, shall we?
I'll be back in an hour or two. Okay, how about 60 seconds?
That'll work.
Smith & Wesson brings 10 years of development to your holster with the new enhanced M&P M2.0 semi-auto pistol. In 940 and 45 with a crisp and lighter trigger pull, the M2.0 has aggressive texture for a great grip, extended stainless steel chassis for rigidity, and 4 palm swell grip inserts for a perfect fit. The remarkable M&P, even better in version 2.0. See it at smith-wesson.com.
Get the fastest semi-automatic trigger for your AR rifle with Franklin Armory's BFS trigger. The binary firing system offers a 3-position selector for binary, semi, and safe modes. In binary mode, your AR fires 1 round on pull and 1 round on release. Works in any AR. Is easy to install, no paperwork needed. 100% U.S. made, patent pending. The BFS Trigger from Franklin Armory. At a dealer near you or at franklinarmory.com.
All right, we're back with you here. And after that long, oh, well, it's okay. It's just a few seconds there. So, guys, I did some shooting this week with my little revolver, except it's a big revolver. It's my Smith 686 7-shot.
Ooh.
And we had people, we were teaching them to shoot revolvers. And they never shot a revolver before. But I was kind of surprised. It's a fairly large frame. It's a medium frame, but large for them. And actually, 2 of the ladies could not shoot at double action. The grip's too big. They couldn't get a finger in where they could actually get the joint of that trigger finger in.
Right.
And they just weren't able to shoot at double action.
And the pull, how hard's the pull on that?
Oh, it's, you're probably talking about 15 pounds. So
14, 15 pounds.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Whereas, single action, it's easy.
Right.
Which kind of goes back to, I do like the smaller revolvers for that. And Michelle, we've talked about that Ruger LCR in 327. That's an easy trigger to pull.
You guys have talked about that before.
Once.
Have you heard about it? We can talk about it again. It is an easy trigger to pull. They went through and completely redesigned that pistol to make it so. So even though it's a double action, there's not much pull to it. Mm-mm. I guess part of it, you look at those 686s and it's a big gun. It's a big gun for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's also a 7-shot, so the frame's heavy. It can take it. But, sometimes the grips on the guns just aren't right for the hands. Some people like the big palm swells, and somebody wants the slimmer. And there's just so many variations that can go on with these guns to personalize it. So did they end up shooting it at all? Did they end up shooting it in single action?
They shot single action and liked it. Because I had the in fact, I shoot double tap target loads, little wad cutter loads.
I was going to ask you, yeah.
And, nice and easy. And then I shot it a couple of times with Full House 357 just so they could see the difference. But I wasn't going to have them shoot it with the Full House loads. Right. No point in that.
Can I ask you, when they were reaching up to cock the hammer, were they having a problem with the actual cocking of the hammer too? Because we run into that quite often as well.
No, they weren't. In this case, they were not. So... that was okay. I mean, I was keeping a pretty close watch on that. And the other thing is making sure that when they're cocking it, that they don't have the finger on the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Just going to say that.
It just wants to curl around that automatically.
It really does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you get this surprisingly loud noise.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did exactly what you wanted it to do.
Yeah. We also shot one of the M&P full size had a laser on it. Ooh. And 2 of the people there had never shot a laser before. It was interesting at first, and you guys have seen this, it was disconcerting for them to see how much the laser bounced around while you're aiming. Mm-hmm. And you go, trying to make it just be still. I said, don't worry about it being still. Just press the trigger and just don't try to time it. And everybody wants to try to time it when it's perfect and then snatch the trigger. Just keep pressing it and let the wobble happen. And at, I don't know, probably 12 yards... They were shooting 3-inch groups.
That's good.
And these are for pretty new shooters. So, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you do have to accept your wiggle area. Yep. And it gets worse the more magnification you have on a scope.
Yeah.
And it gets worse with that laser that you can see.
And the laser, with the iron sights, you can, you don't really see how much it's wobbling with the laser. You can see exactly where it's pointing. But like I say, the weird part is, even with, you think, oh man, I'm wobbling all over the place. Just put good trigger pressure on it and just keep going until it goes off. Don't worry about it. And it's weird, but all the shots end up being pretty darn close together and right on target.
All comes down to trigger control.
It always does, doesn't it?
It's amazing.
It's all. I mean, it's not everything, but it's 90%. Mm-hmm. It really is. So it was fun. And we had a good time. And now we're trying to figure out this whole backpack holster thing for. There are these ladies there who do a lot of hiking in the mountains, and one of them was carrying, actually, I think it was an LCR.
Bear gun.
Yeah, well, it's bear better than nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And they're also, there's always the two-legged predators, and so there's that. But being able to get to it while you're wearing this waist strap on a backpack is something I had not thought of before. And so they were asking me, what are you doing? I don't know. You guys have any thoughts?
Would you go to like a bandolier holster?
You could, just do across the chest, open carry. Could do that. I thought of a belly band-ish, possibly.
You would want to keep it off the hip, obviously, if you're going through any kind of brush
stuff,
or, yeah.
What about like cargo pants with a pocket holster? You got the front thigh pockets?
Man,
that way it won't snag anything.
You're talking about slow, though. Man, that would be really slow. Velcro opening, trying to get it out of there. We actually went to a deal, the waistband strap that this pack had little side pockets, little zipper side pockets actually on the belt. And we were able to stick a shield into one of those. And so I said, well, try this. And so we, right-handed shooter, put it on the left-hand one. I said, let's look at going cross-draw. Because that way she could unzip it with her left hand, reach over and extract the pistol with her right hand, reach it across. And normally I'm not a cross-draw fan, but if you're in the woods, you're not sweeping a lot of people.
Right.
As you come out. And so that was a workaround that we're still in progress. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a fanny pack, but again, you don't want to hang too much stuff off you. But one of the things, Tom, I don't know if you've ever seen them, is the company 511. They make what they call a holster T-shirt, and it's either sleeveless or with sleeves, and it's like a compression type of shirt that the gun ends up sitting right underneath the armpit up against the rib cage. And that might be something, because it's either right or left-handed. You cross-draw.
You ruled out the clandestine pith helmet holster idea? You didn't like that?
We pithed on that idea.
Now that pissed me off.
I'm okay. Think of something that's underneath the armpit, and because I thought of shoulder holster, but you have a backpack strap
coming over the top,
coming over the top of the shoulder and kind of coming down. I think it's going to take a lot of experimentation and try different things and going, okay, with this particular pack, what would work for you? What are you willing to carry? Kind of a thing.
Is it gender specific?
No.
Okay.
This would work for men and women.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're kind of playing with it, but I think there are enough people out there backpacking who would like to carry that somebody either has come up with a solution, or if they haven't, there's an opportunity for holster maker there.
You had mentioned belly band. What about like a smart carry idea? Too hard to get to?
Yeah, I think it'd be a little bit hard to get to. But, the fanny pack is not a bad possibility worn in front. You would just need to make sure you already got this one strap, going across your waist that's basically holding up the weight. The thing is, the shoulder straps, if you have it correctly situated, do not hold the weight of your backpack. The waistband holds the weight of your backpack.
Okay.
And that won't get in the way of a belly band?
That's the issue. That's
right.
We'd have to kind of consider
there.
that.
Yeah.
You might have to put the
belly band on
backpack,
after. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Belly band, fanny pack. No, the fanny pack would go on last.
Right.
Keep it on top.
The belly band, would that be, because depending on where it gets worn, if it's worn high or low, I suppose.
Oh, I see.
Underneath, because that could still be an issue with the belt coming across the waist.
Yeah, but you have to get your shirt open, and the backpack straps may prevent that from happening.
And I think open carry is fine for this. You're out in the woods. You don't have to conceal it. Just wear it.
Okay.
So, I don't know, working on it here. Actually, weirdly enough, I'm looking here, just got an email from Dan P. in Anchorage. There are a couple of small companies in Alaska that make a chest holster that would be compatible with a backpack. Diamond D and Man Gear are their names. I knew somebody had to have already done something.
It seems to me that bandolier would be like that best option. In the front, covered, mostly protected. You can bring your shoulders in around it. Yeah.
I still like the string through the trigger guard deal and just loop it over your neck.
Nice.
Sure.
Let us know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Here's your sign,
From
Tom.
a distance.
Here's your sign.
That gun's just beating you to death. You're black and blue as you walk along. Slapping it to you. I eat you. Wow. Okay, let's take a quick break and consider this. We'll consider all our options and come back here.
Built to perform in the harshest conditions, the Ruger American pistol can take it all, from ice to dust and everything in between. The Ruger American pistol features a short take-up trigger, Novak sights, and a recoil-reducing barrel cam with low-mass slide for reduced felt recoil. Plus, a modular grip system with 3 sizes to fit almost any hand. Check it out at Ruger.com. The Ruger American pistol, because anything else would be un-American.
At Stag Arms, our firearms are built to exceed limitations and push boundaries. The Stag 10 and 10S from Stag Arms offer recreational and avid .308 shooters better accuracy and performance. Custom-designed forgings give the Stag 10 and 10S tighter tolerances and a modernized style, all while retaining the strength of mil-spec parts. Each model carries Stag Arms transferable lifetime warranty and infinite shot barrel guarantee. Find out more at stagarms.com.
All right, we're still talking about this backpack idea. You know, it goes to the point, and Michelle, we've talked about this a lot. There are just a zillion ways to carry, and all of them are a compromise, aren't they?
They are very specific to the intended goal, I'm going to say. So you do have, and we've talked about summer carry, winter carry, but we've never really talked a lot about sport carry. So, you know, those people who do cross-country skiing, I'm sure they have the same issue.
Yep.
Gloves on, gloves off. You know, all that scenario has to, the what if has to come across. And
Can't you just put up a no bear sign or something? Or I mean, it works so well
no
for
weirdos,
criminals.
no animals.
Yeah, no psychos, no.
A bear-free zone?
Yeah. That could mean a couple of different things.
Depending on the spelling, absolutely.
Well, you know, bear spray works. I mean, just, you know, the pepper spray they have for bears, I mean, that stuff really does work.
But you got snakes, and you have all kinds of potential threats.
Depending on where you are. And, I mean, going back to, there have been a number, take the Appalachian Trail. There have been a number of attacks and murders of women on the Appalachian Trail. So,
yeah, people think crime is just, it's in urban neighborhoods and stuff, and you know, it's not going to happen out in the woods. There's nobody out here but fellow country folk.
Well, and you know, who are you going to call, and when will they get there?
Well, right, because even they have spots that you can stop along the way and shower and recharge your cell phone, but you know, if you don't have a very good signal and your phone's constantly trying to seek out a signal, it's going to go dead extremely fast.
And
I mean,
even if you can get them, it's going to be 2 hours before you might get there.
If you know exactly where you are.
I was going to say, in a heated moment, you're going to say, we just passed marker 17, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have the same thing out there on the Pacific Rim, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the same deal. You're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there are a lot of places. It's like a couple of places we flew into. I loved it because I take the phone out, and up at the top left of the screen, it has this wonderful 2 words there. It says, no service. Well, you're on your own.
Hey, which actually is a nice segue. Here's a softball toss for you, Tom. Gee, would a personal locator beacon come in handy for hiking?
Well, PLB is a great thing to have for hiking, as is, I think, the spot type trackers, or I got a Delorme, or I don't know if it's Delorme or Delorme, Delorme, but they were purchased by Garmin, and it sends a ping, like you can set it for every 2 minutes or every 10 minutes as you're walking, driving, hiking, running your four-wheeler, snowmobile. And people who you have given access to the website can go to the website and actually see where you're going and say, he hasn't gotten back, and I see this tracker got to this point, and you can send searchers in there.
At least narrow it down, yeah.
But even more than that, with the Delorme system, you can send an email without having cell phone service because it works off the satellite. So you can send help, or I've got a flat tire, or I'll be late, or whatever.
Send help and bring a pizza with you, will you?
That's right. That's right. I've broken down, bring beer and pizza. Thank you.
The ultimate hydrator beer.
Right. Yeah, that's
what you need on the trail.
Just what you need. That's right. I'm dehydrated. Let's make it worse by drinking alcohol.
Right.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, we had some fun out here, though. It's a true getaway. You need to do a break now and then and just go to a completely different place and shake it up. And frankly, after the fire and dealing with all of that, we needed a break. And then when we get back, we'll be ready to get back into it with our newest, we've never met him, insurance adjuster, and start doing demolition of much of the house and start our project.
Sweet.
It's a good thing when you can say you've never met your insurance adjuster, though.
Yeah, you want to be on a first-name basis with this guy.
So, Justin, what are you doing tomorrow around 2?
So I'm thinking maybe what we're going to do is go with gun racks in all the rooms this time.
I like that.
Yeah, why not?
Good look.
It's a good look.
Make you feel like you were young again, Tom. You'd share those stories about guns being all over, ammo being all over.
We had a couple of walk-in closets. One was actually the kitchen pantry that got converted.
Yep, I remember.
And Dad put 1x1s, 1x2s, whatever, on the walls, and then drilled holes into them diagonally, put a 6-inch dowel into these holes angled up so you could put guns on them, but you could actually put 2 guns across each of these 6-inch dowels just to give you an idea. And the walls were covered.
Your mom's such a patient woman.
Oh, she was a saint, I tell you. So it worked out. It was a fun deal. But yeah, I'm thinking that'd be a good look. I'm not sure that my wife is going to be able to.
Well, you can get ornate knobs. You don't have to do the plain dowel rod.
Yeah,
Home Depot's ready when you are, right?
Get some with LEDs or something so you can load them at night and put them up there.
But she's not going to be using the pantry for nearly as many things as she did before, probably, right?
Certainly not eat potato makers, that's
right?
for sure.
Oh, that poor woman.
Oh. So, okay, you're going to love this. We're at this big gathering here. We came up here for this big gathering of pilots. And so they presented Pat with an inflatable fire extinguisher.
No.
And I gave her a hat. I think I told you already. It says, "Is it hot in here or is it me?" And then they gave her a name tag with her new nickname, which is Sparky.
And she took it in stride, I'm sure.
She did. Oh, she had a blast. And somebody had a birthday there, so they fired up the birthday cake with all the candles, and she ran over with her fire extinguisher.
I love it. I can't pull the pin.
So it was a good time, and she's got a good attitude about it. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do about it now? Yeah.
It's a process, and you go, okay, in a year we'll have the house redone, and it'll all be new, and we will have learned some things in the process.
You're around to laugh about it. That's all that matters.
Yes, exactly. So you just kind of go, yeah, okay, we can get through this. We can get through also. So no big deal. It's just a thing.
All right.
All righty. Well, you guys, I'm going to be back. Let's see. What are we doing? We're going to be doing some live video on reloading this week on Facebook. And for those who haven't yet checked it out, the new seasons of Guns and Gear and Gun Venture started last week. And so Thursday nights on Sportsman Channel, when the new episodes air, doing wing shooting, doing zip lining, doing skydiving inside of a building, which is kind of weird. All sorts of fun stuff. And, of course, by the way, we're shooting a lot of guns.
Of course.
I hate when that happens.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that too.
what you should be doing.
Okay. You guys have a safe week, and we will check in and do it all again next week and see if we can do it correctly this time.
And set a precedent?
Pressure.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not going to happen.
First he tells us we have to do the radio show by ourselves, and now that.
Oh, we actually have to do it right now? Oh, man, come on. Jeez.
Oh, we'll have no followers.
Thank you again, guys, for filling in. That really did. It was great.
Our pleasure.
Anytime, buddy.
All right. Have a good week. See you next time.
Be
Bye.
good.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out GunDealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.